If I do good, if I convert, I'll have a opportunity where I can work from home and enjoy, and make money. And if I lose, then what's a big deal? I'm anyway putting effort. I'll just continue, right? A good closer is that they're really hungry. They're looking to create an impact. They are looking to become something. They're looking to be on a journey that would really transform them. Financially is definitely is one of the motives that's major motivation, but behind that they also want to become a skilled man or woman. They want to become more respected, they want to grow their own influence. A good part is that because these closers, they get opportunity to work with top 1%, and the companies that really work with us are very nicely qualified, because unless they have a program, unless they have a product or service that is actually transformational, that is actually creating the value for the buyer, we do not work with them. And that's why every time our closers get on call, they are actually not converting a sale, they are actually serving. We were seeing sales happening in India is pretty much like how a credit card seller calls you and try to sell you
features and benefits.
Exactly. Yeah. And there we are our consultants, who are getting on call, they're talking to them, they are very consultative. They're talking to them, understanding their challenges, understanding their goals, and then showing them a path that will lead to transformation. So you cannot be focused just on conversion. You have to come with the care side. And when you bring a care side, you ask a question, the question you might ask, because how would you convey the experience that you bring in that 2 decades, right?
Yep.
So that's why, we have formed something, a concept, a system that we call the 4 C's of persuasion, and which is really sets the foundation for learning persuasion. Now, what are those 4 C's? First is clarity. Key areas is like what helped you get this conversion if you got a conversion, right? And because you analyze that 1 hour call, you have been on the call, the major one reason that person bought. Another 4 calls that you had that day, total 5 calls you had, other 4 didn't convert. What's the key reason they didn't convert? Why I joined exclusive closer and became a closer, and then eventually laddered up to become a manager, trainer, and then coach and the partner, right? So during this journey, what I realized, that you need to have a winning aura in all the areas of your life, right? And that starts with the systems that she have learned with exclusive closer. Today she is actually making 2 lakh a month working as a remote closer. Not only that, she have gained the knowledge and transformed herself, and she has actually become a trainer.
Hi everyone, Janakiram here, CEO of Exclusive Closer. And for those of you who don't know, Exclusive Closer helps digital product companies recruit, train, and manage high-performance remote sales teams. And with me today, we have a very special guest, someone who's been behind the scenes working tirelessly to ensure that Exclusive Closer is running to the very best. And that is my co-founder here, Mr. Aniket Kumar.
Welcome to Killer Sales Engine Podcast with Janakiram.
How's it going, Aniket?
Hey, hi Om. Yeah, thanks for hosting this show, and it's always good. Happy to have you in addition around Exclusive Closer and how we have built this really powerful and strong company.
I mean, usually I'm the person who's in front of the camera going out there, so we said we have to bring you in the forefront.
To be specific, you can say you're definitely taking much the spotlight most of the time. So today I want to be the the focus of the show.
Exactly. So today we're going to make him the spotlight. The main purpose of this is to educate you on how we've been able to build this 7-figure remote sales company, and to ensure that if you have any questions, whether it's working with us as a client or as a closer, we want to be able to educate on exactly what we do. So no holds bar, like we're just going to share everything.
Yes.
And if you love to work with us, great. If you want to copy what we're doing, even better. In a nutshell, before we get started, tell us a little bit about how we got started working with Exclusive Closer.
All right, good question. I think we can just straight jump into how I basically met Om. So I was already working in sales, and good part is Om also working in sales. I think we are talking around 2019, maybe beginning of 2019, and attended registered for some workshop on public speaking, and where Om was working with that influencer. That influencer was his client, where he was closing deals for him, and he happened to call me. And he called me up, and I picked the phone, and I hear some magical voice. I had not seen him by then, because of course just a random phone call, like you must have received on a regular day, right? And I received a call, and I hear some magical voice, a man saying, "Hi, am I speaking to Aniket?" And I was like, wow, this sounds cool. Yeah, yeah, I'm Aniket here. Who are you? He's like, yeah, hi, Aniket. My name is Om Janakiram. And now, when he said that line, it was just not a name, it's sort of a statement he made that who he is, you know. And I was like, wow. And I engaged in the conversation with him and how he, really communicated with me. I sort of became a fan in that moment because I was in sales and I knew what kind of struggle it was to build a quick rapport and stuff. But this man was doing something really phenomenal, and I was like, I want to learn from him. And then I looked at his DP later on the WhatsApp. He was pretty much sounding the way he was on the picture as well, man in a suit and stuff. And so everything looked good, and I was like, I that particular moment, I sort of subconsciously, or maybe, I decided that I actually want to learn from him. And that was just the beginning thought of how and what future might be holding for me.
Yeah. And then what happened?
Then after, because I had saved your phone number, of course, Om couldn't convert me as a lead. I was never an interested lead, even though, but he did impress me. So I saved his number. And later on, around lockdown, because the projects that I was working on, it didn't work out that well for me. So what did I do is I started looking for something new. And it was already lockdown going on, a lot of negative stuff going on. You open the TV and stuff. I myself was looking for something new, something exciting, something where I can get some good partnership, good company, right? And I reached out to Om. I was like, Om, I remember you called me. I know you were a closer. I have sort of connected with you online on Facebook as well, and I'm looking for an opportunity. And I told him that that sort of personality I was that time. I said, I'm really good at sales. I know I'm good.
Yeah, you know a person is good when they say I'm really good at sales, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think one point that that you really did was that even though I wasn't keen on like training anyone or taking on anyone at that point of time, I think your persistence is what really stood out in that fact. I remember you shared with me like a video profile or something like that of your story.
Oh yeah.
And things like that, and that's something you don't see very often at that point of time. So
Yes.
I think that's what really stood out. You were like a 21 or 22-year-old at that time.
Yeah, I think we were talking about 2020, right? So I was
Yeah.
around 21, yeah, 20 or
Yeah.
21. Yeah.
And yeah, so I think that's when, after a lot of persistence, a lot of follow up, finally I said, all right, here's some leads. Let's see what happens, right? Or before that, we did something. What happened before that?
Oh yeah, so good part is he's referring to the story. So what did I do is, because even before I came to home, I had applied for certain high ticket sales closer opportunity, not in India but actually in abroad. And now for that, what did I do is I actually had crafted my story, 4-page story that was telling like what did I desire to, what challenges I face, and who I actually became during the process. Now, when you typically interviewing somebody, you don't have, you typically send resumes, and I actually sent a 4-page story. This is who I am. This story is telling you. And I sent that to home, and I think he pretty much got impressed with it. Now, but he, like he said, he didn't really decide to give me opportunity. But we kept the conversation. I kept on follow up with him, and then eventually he decided. One day he had a thought that, which he later on told me that I thought, let me give him a shot. And what he did is basically he said, here's one of my client I'm working with, and I have 10-15 leads that I'm gonna give to you. I want you to call them and convert them, And he asked me to attend that workshop for the product training, right? And I knew the product now, but I was like, how should I convert? Because at that time my sales conversion was just 1%, even though I was selling courses already, different coaching programs. And I asked him, like, how do you convert? He said, I'm gonna show you. And what he did exactly at that time is he did a sales role play with me of around 20-25 minutes, where he pulled out the curtain and showed me exactly step by step, by actually practically doing it, how he converts sales, how does he talk, what questions does he ask. And I recorded that entire call. And that time I got to know the framework that is called high ticket sales, or the sales persuasion. That there's something which is much better than what 99% of India calls sales today.
Yeah, and that's where the consultative selling, which we were talking
Exactly.
about, is what we're going to be talking about to everyone over here as well in a bit. I remember that very categorically, that I was tied up with another assignment, and I said, okay, who can I give these leads to? And that's when also I thought about you. And once I gave the leads, once you practiced it, we said we'll talk about a small test, right?
Small test, huh? Yeah, so he's actually using the word exactly right. He did a test, and his specific words, sounded slight rude to me at that time. He said, "If you do good now, I will give you around 10 leads. If you convert here, if you do good, I might give you a permanent opportunity. So I was like, I've got nothing to lose technically at that time. That's how I thought. If I do good, if I convert, I'll have a opportunity where I can work from home and enjoy, and make money. And if I lose, then what's a big deal? I'm anyway putting effort. I'll just continue, right? And that's the time. Because he had broken down the framework for me, I had two things now, which basically became my toolbook. I had a sales call recording, which is a role play, a mock call recording that how he convert deal, right? Second thing is because I've broken down, I have a script, because I've heard it and I wrote down a script, right? Now that's what I did. He said do exactly that. And I asked him like, if I do exactly that, will I convert? He said 100%. And I think he was saying like, why don't you just go and test it out if it would actually work for you? And that's what I did. So I picked up those 10 leads. I started dialing and I did exactly as what he said. And to my surprise, guys, and that day, I think out of 10, easily at least around 3 deals I did crack, and that too I think it was one day or just in 2 days, I cracked 3 deals. And that was the beginning of me entering in exclusive closer and making a mark pretty much on the day one. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what sort of has been the how you do anything is how you do everything factor with you. And that's what's also built up over the years. Lot of experience working with multiple different types of coaches.
Oh, yeah.
Where to make you be sitting here right now with me as my co-founder as such right now. So great journey so far. And I'm very, very proud of what you've accomplished. So that's awesome. Now, what I think is really important for us to share is that how does Exclusive Closer really make a difference as far as, if you look at any other sales company out there in India, right, which is primarily working in the credit card space or the loans or any other thing like that, what really sets us apart right now in the industry? And why are we working with these industries?
In my definition, although of course, today when I'm sitting with you, I'm really honored that I'm sharing the stage with you and we're talking about Exclusive Closer. And of course, a lot of thanks goes to you for building this momentum, I would say, because what you started was a movement, right? And now what it has become is a momentum that we want to be able to carry on. So Exclusive Closer is a company that is actually helping digital businesses out there, companies that got amazing transformational product and services, but they are just not yet able to take it to really to masses. That's where Exclusive Closer comes in with the power of sales warriors who are professionally designed to get on a sales call, convert the deal, collect the payment, and just hand over the client, the ready-made client, to the clients itself. Now, how are we doing it? Like we're working specifically top 1% companies who got the transformational product, they got the results, they just need scaling. For that, we got our sales army that, you and I and a lot of our consultants who have helped us prepare. And these guys get on call, they work from the comfort of their home very nicely. And they got the training, they got the script, they know exactly what they need to do when they get on a sales call. And as a result, they convert the deal. And a lot of these guys, these young men, 19-year-old, 20-year-old, 24-year-old,
Men and women.
men and women, they're making a lakh, a 2 lakh. I think the highest probably, I think it has gone 2 lakh plus, what guys have made with us. A lot of closers who have joined, they're like brilliant people, and it's the impact. A lot of our clients have done crores with us.
I want to specifically go into the traits of a good closer that we've seen.
What are the traits of a good sales closer? Yeah.
Someone who's going to be successful, because this is, it's not for everyone.
It is definitely not, yeah. So what are the good traits of a good sales professional, or in our definition, a good closer is that they're really hungry. They're looking to create an impact. They are looking to become something. They're looking to be on a journey that would really transform them. Financially is definitely is one of the motives that's major motivation. But behind that, they also want to become a skilled man or woman. They want to become more respected. They want to grow their own influence. These are the kids or even the young man. In fact, the eldest hire that we did was a 60-year-old man who later on became our top level management executive and started as a closer. So what really if I break it down into majorly top 3 traits that I have seen in really, really good closer is one has been that they have been hungry to become something. They want to gain, they want to make money, definitely, but they want to become something. Second trait that I have seen common is they are really consistent, they don't stop. whether the results are in their favor or not in their favor, they're consistent and eventually they break it, right? And the third, I think one of the biggest traits that I've seen in them that really helps them excel is that they're really looking to learn. A lot of the good closers that worked with me, they actually made me, really pushed me. They're like getting on call with me 10 p.m., 11 p.m., 12 midnights. They want me to coach them because they want to become the better version of them. I think these are big three traits that I see. What are the traits that you have seen?
See, what I feel, like I said, that the grit, like you said, the point is that they're consistent. They really want to be able to persist no matter what. And the third point that you also said, always be learning. That's a very big factor, because if you're hungry to learn, you're going to be able to excel and grow and beyond. I think the main thing that I really see is that passion for service.
Yes.
The fact that it's not only about the money, but it's also the fact that they're coming to really want to change this person's life.
Right.
And they value that it's more than just features and benefits and things like that, but it's actually something that once that person gets that result and says, thank you for helping me take this decision, I think that's the biggest satisfaction that a closer can get. And if you're able to think in that service mindset, as you say, seva, right? It's really, it's something that will help you go far.
Right. That's also one of our really top values, to be able to do, to be able to serve, be able to do seva, right? Good part is that because these closers, they get opportunity to work with top 1%, and the companies that that really work with us are very nicely qualified, because unless they have a program, unless they have a product or service that is actually transformational, that is actually creating the value for the buyer, we do not work with them. And that's why every time our closers get on call, they are actually not converting a sale. They are actually serving. They're doing a seva, right? Because once they collect the money, that person actually has an opportunity now to do something, to become something, to really do the impact with the help of these companies.
Correct. So speaking of the type of clients that we work with, right, and how it's very important to choose clients who have a transformational product, right? So can you talk about a few of the clients that we worked with and how have we helped some of them?
Yeah, let's just pick some examples. One of the clients that we worked with in the space of digital marketing, teaching in Hindi, Sandeep Bansali, right? Now, when I worked with specifically when Om assigned that client to me, I was the lead consultant in that particular project, right? The challenge that was there is like doing sales in Hindi, because we have majorly done it in English, right? So for that, we designed something we call the Hindi sales persuasion system. We picked up our really best scripts, systems that have resulted in a lot more crores of sales. So we did pick that system up, converted it into a Hindi sales script that would work, that would be conversational, that will make people feel heard. And eventually the same sales system we used, and I guess we scaled it. You can correct me if the number is not wrong. I think we were able to generate in 18 months about 2 CR for them, and with the major unit sales coming from just 5,000 rupee product. Can you imagine?
Exactly. And the whole idea was not only about the fact that they were doing the low ticket, but how we transitioned them to do mid ticket and high ticket as well, right?
Yeah, because when Sandeep came to us, he was basically selling a 2K product, a 1K, 2K product, right? And we said, we cannot really work with you. They're like just a very small size. There's not enough margins going to be for us, And he said he gonna scale the price if you guys can help, right? So eventually that 2K eventually became 7.5K, and later on we also helped him introduce a mid-level or a high ticket that I think the last when we checked was 70,000, roughly 70,000, right? And this was pretty cool. I think what has really played a major role in that particular project is. Again, the word seva, because that company also had one of their value as seva. EC have one of their value as seva, that is serving, right? And the good part is that, before we actually made this system called Hindi Sales Persuasion System, the way we were seeing sales happening in India is pretty much like how a credit card seller calls you and try to sell you.
Features and benefits.
Exactly. Yeah. And there our consultants, who are getting on call, they're talking to them. They are very consultative. Yeah. They're talking to them, understanding their challenges, understanding their goals, and then showing them a path that will lead to transformation. And that's what we call sales in a real manner.
Yeah, I think, like I said, without the pain, right? And this is something which a lot of people, especially salespeople, are scared to go towards, to be able to dig for the pain as to what's really their motivation for wanting to do this.
Right.
So, do you feel like when it comes to traditional salespeople, and you're doing the hiring, right? So, when you speak to the corporate, when they're coming from typical corporate background and they have to get into this space where digging for the pain and the tonality and painting the dream and the solution, how do you find them adopting this system?
Yeah, okay. I think that that's a good point to be brought in because a lot of the times when people who have been working in corporate as sales professionals, corporate sales rep, right, when they come to us, they're not exposed to that system usually most of the time, and that they are habitual of doing the sales in the same manner where they actually feel like begging for a sale. They don't feel cool. They feel toxic in being in that environment where they're pressured to actually hit the numbers, right? And many of the time, if they get on a call with me, they just ask me, I do a something called a coachability test, or sometimes we get them to do a mock call on the during the interview, right? And most of the time, they just ask me to just max 3-4 questions, straight get into the product. So there's so much tensed about selling that their 90% efforts are just focused on convincing. Now, how do we help them shift to our model, which we call consultative sales, wherever we teach them the reason that you're just not here to convert, you're here to really help them. So we help them develop that care for the prospect who comes on the call, who is taking out his really, really precious time, and who gonna probably take out the money from his savings and utilize it with the intention to do something good. So you cannot be focused just on conversion. You have to come with the care side. And when you bring a care side, you ask a question. The question you might ask when you're coming from a care, might ask, are you doing well? Yeah. What has been the challenge? Yeah. So because they are coming from care, right? Now, because the intent is there, questions are automatically coming. Now, there we teach them the scientific sales, right? Now, once you have a feeling, now let's give you the logic. We give them bunch of questions that makes people open up. For a quick example would be like let's say I'm gonna ask so you're doing this business, so what's the number one challenge you're facing? And I'm gonna say,
Yeah,
blah, blah, blah.
we can role play that.
Or maybe we can do a quick role play, maybe
Yeah,
3-4
sure,
minutes,
sure.
right?
Yeah,
So let's say you're on call with me, right? Yeah. So let's say you're selling. Maybe marketing program, right? Helping.
I'm going to buy a marketing. Okay, I'm looking to hire a digital marketing company.
You're looking to hire a digital marketing company.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's say I'm somebody who is a digital marketing company. Let's say a founder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Cool. So let's say we are on a call. Sales call, right? Cool. So amazing. Good to have you on the sales call, Om. So let me just ask you this: like, what really motivated you to get on this call with me?
Well, for one thing, I was able to go through your ad and your landing page, and it really resonated with me. So once I saw your VSL, I figured, this is exactly what I'm looking for. But I'm still concerned about a few things, so that's why I'm on this call.
Okay. I appreciate that, Om. You're mentioning it. Good. But I'm just curious, because I understand you're a businessman, and I'm sure that when you open your Instagram, a lot of ad comes in, and I'm sure you already are in a touch of a lot of marketing agencies. It's just coming more of out of curiosity. Like, what really specifically made you pick me instead of speaking to bunch of agencies out there?
Like I said, I think the fact that you hit upon my need, and also the fact that you're working with other kind of people in my area, in my niche.
I see.
I think that gave me the confidence that I should be on this call with you.
Okay. So like I mentioned in the beginning of the call, I've we got bunch of clients to consult and all, right? But I've set aside 30 minutes for this call to be able to see if we can really help you, and if it sounds like we can really help you, I'm going to show you how we can help you and how we have helped other people, and, who has been running a companies like yours, right?
Yeah, but
So
can
let
you just
me-
tell me
yeah.
the price first?
Yeah, definitely I can get into that, but I'm not really sure if I can really help you yet, because I'm not big words, but I'm very I won't say word picky, but I want to be able to work with people who I can really help, generate results. So before I know that I can help you, do you feel it makes sense to tell me what I'm going to charge you, because it's not relevant, right? Do you feel same way?
I guess we could talk a little bit more.
Right, yeah. So just tell me, let's just go straight really to the to understand more about you, right? So Just tell me, like you've been running this business. You mentioned, I think, in the application for the past 10 years, right? So, what is it that is not really working for you right now?
I'm just not getting quality leads.
Okay, you're not getting quality leads. Okay, and why is that? Like, why are you not getting quality leads?
I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe the targeting, my product landing page, few things are not really kind of working out in that sense. I want to be able to kind of revamp it, do something new.
Okay, okay. So you feel the need that you need to revamp it, make it something new that can actually work. Okay. Sounds like you've already tested and tried a lot of things, right? So how long it has been? Like how many months or maybe years it has been since you have been trying to get quality leads?
I've actively started maybe a year.
Oh, okay. So it's been already over a year that you have been looking to get quality leads for your business.
Yeah, I've tried multiple people, freelancers. I've tried, doing it myself. I've tried this online platforms like Fiverr. Nothing's really worked.
See, and I'm sure you burnt a lot of money during this process, right?
Yep. Relatively, you can say that.
Okay, okay. So really, like looking at the past homes, spending over a year and spending, of course, at least a lakhs of money in ads and still not getting the quality leads that can get converted. Like going through all of that, just out of curiosity, I want to ask, like, how does that really make you feel?
Well, not good, obviously, because, I'm still not able to hit my targets. I'm still not able to, reach as many people as I'd like to reach. And yeah, I'm not able to scale. So that doesn't feel good at all.
So not being able to scale, like, can just define that for me so that I have a better grip on what you're saying?
I mean, I'm looking to, right now we're doing about 1 or 2 clients a month. I want to scale to 10 to 12 clients a month.
Okay. So scaling to 10 to 12 clients a month, like, is that important to you?
Yeah, definitely. That's why I'm on this call.
I see. But can you just define it for me, like scaling to 10 to 12 clients? Like, why is it really important to you today?
Because, I mean, if I don't, then, I'm just going to be stuck in the same place.
Okay. And I think that's something nobody wants to do, right?
No, definitely not.
So would you say it's a time to make the change and really start getting results that you're looking for?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, all right. Pause here, right?
Yeah.
So you can see how we have, really, I'm really building the conversation up. You could see, like, when he got on the call with me, I'm just sort of asked him some question, what motivated you? So he told me this is what resonated with me, right? And then I was like, why do you want to pick me? And there are a lot of guys out there. So I'm getting him to talk good things about me, right? What a nice way to start the call, right? Now from here, I'm just straight going into problem and stuff. I'm understanding like what he does. I'm setting the stage right now. I'm like, what do you say? Like, and the way I've ended that particular section is, would you say right now is the time that you really want to change things, and he's saying yes, right? So from there, I usually go into level 2, level 3, in terms of pain, right? Pain digging, right? But you can see the whole process. If you just see maybe 5-10 minutes, I think we did, right? You can see like how much of authority I've already established, even though I'm not running a marketing agency. But if you look at this video, you'll be like, my God, looks like this guy is actually running a very successful agency already, right? And I'm pretty much, if you see my conversation, I'm interviewing the potential client, right? I want the business. But I'm showing, I actually, even if I don't get it, that's no big deal, right?
And I think the important point to note over here is that you don't have to be the owner. You don't have to be a person who's been in the company for many, many years to have to do this.
Yeah.
Right? If you have that confidence and the authority to put it up, a good strong frame, then the person you're speaking to will automatically think you have been there for years and probably are the founder. For
Exactly.
that, for all you know.
So what we call that, like, we call this something called acting, right? Om also teaches this, inside the company.
So closing, I feel, is basically acting plus understanding human psychology.
Yes.
Where you're able to put on a good frame and you're able to understand clearly on how this person can be understood and then be able to reveal exactly what it is that they require.
Right. And speaking of this thing, psychology and acting, right? And talking about clients, right? Remember one of the really initial client that we worked with, Gopal Krishnan, he teaches coaches how you can market yourself better, right? And good part is when I started working with Om on that project, I literally didn't knew much about marketing, the digital internet marketing, right? And I was actually selling a course on internet marketing. So I saw Om, because I did more calls with him, that how he actually does, how he talks to them. And I was actually just acting like an expert marketer, right? By asking questions like, how much is your, ad cost, right? What sort of conversion do you have? As I was asking questions, I was already getting positioned in their eyes as an expert, right? And that's what Om is referring to as acting. Even though I was not a marketing expert, I didn't know how to run Facebook ads. But when I was getting on sales calls, I was converting those business owners, and trust me, like they were seeing me as a charm, super expert, who can just transform their business. And that was because of that acting. So tell me something. I get a lot of feedback on this as well, where people say, "Oh, you're deceiving us." What do you have to say for that for people? Because already sales has got a little bit of a bad reputation in the market, right? For people saying, you'll be lying, you're telling me wrong things. What do you think this sets a closer apart from a typical salesperson? Okay, good question. So, like you see in the way we see sales closing different than traditional sales is that we know who we are really looking to help. Majority of our clients that we are working with, they very nicely have gotten the clarity who they want to work with. So only when our closers see that person fitting in that aura that we have defined, right, we only work with them. Because it doesn't make sense if we have a fitness program for a 25-year-old to have six-pack abs, right? And we know that we cannot really help a 55-year-old do that. There's no point in converting them, because they will be dissatisfied. That money that's going to come is not going to be a happy money, right? Right. So our closers convert only the leads that they know we can really help, right? Exactly. Yeah. So I think that's what really differentiates, because on the other side, if you see, salespeople are given targets, like whether you sell to an animal or you sell to an alien, that's what manager says. You hit the targets, bring the sale, right? And there we are, right? We are not pressuring them. Instead of the word we use is encourage. We encourage them, you got to hit this month. And we ask our closers itself, what's the goal? They say, I want to hit 30 sales. And when you hit 30 sales, how much you're going to make? I'm going to make 1.5 lakh. Good. And what are you going to do with that 1.5 lakhs? Exactly. What you going to do with that 1.5 lakh? And they always have their goals. So there's no pressure in our environment. Yeah. I think that also coupled with the fact that they are borrowing the authority of the influencer. Because at the end of the day, when it comes to closing, we believe that at least 90% of the information and the education should be provided even before you get on the call. Right. So already the authority is built on the subject. Already a lot of groundwork is done, whether it be by the marketing team or the validators or the appointment setters. And when they finally bring that lead to the call, they are already very well educated about the product or the influencer. So it's all about borrowing that authority for that moment, being an extension of them. Right. So that the influencer can save their time. Influencer in the sense, our client, the coach, the business owner can save their time by training multiple people who we assign to take more calls. Right. And like, for transferring, this is not really a normal thing, right? Like right now, the way you can speak about exclusive closer, and if you had a business development associate taking care of BD, right, today for EC, right, this can be a big deal, because how would you convey the experience that you bring in that 2 decades, right? Yep. So that's why, like we have formed something, a concept, a system that we call the 4 C's of persuasion, and which is really sets the foundation for learning persuasion. Now, what are those 4 C's? First is clarity. You need to be really clear who we are really helping. Like I said, you need to be really clear what are we really selling, and you need to be really clear what is the result, the solution that we are offering to that audience, right? You have the clarity around everything, and you need to be clear not only about client, you need to be really clear why you're working with this particular client, why do you want to make money, right? So when you have that clarity, so you have everything clear. Now when you get on call, and you get on call with leads, you can give them clarity, because everybody is looking for a clarity how they can win their goals, right? Now after clarity, we have the second C, that is certainty. So how do we help our closers develop that certainty, learning from company and really bringing that to the sales call? Yeah. So the certainty obviously comes with the results that have been developed. Yes, exactly. So that being able to really embody into the results that have come out is what's really going to give that person the conviction, the certainty, right? Right. And let's go quickly to next 2 C's as well, right? The third one, the conviction, right? Conviction. Now, Om referred, certainty comes by seeing the results, what results has been produced for people who have actually bought that program, that product, the service, right? So when you read about them, when you understand that audience, right, your certainty get developed, right? Now that is something outside that is already available, right? Conviction comes from inside, guys. It comes from the confidence, right, that get developed as a result of understanding clarity, having real supreme clarity, having real supreme certainty about the product, the program, the company, right, and the company you're working with it. And then conviction is something that comes within, that I know if you come in and work with us, we can help you get results. And that has to, come within, right? And how you develop that is something we teach you, right? As once your these two C's get cleared, conviction automatically comes. When you have conviction, now we merge all these three C's and add the most important C to the equation. That is called the care, right?
Care, yeah.
Yeah. You want to talk about care, Om?
Yeah, because again, care comes from caring whether this product is or service is actually going to help this person or not.
Yeah.
And even you might have a lot of conviction, certainty, but if at the end of the day you care more about your paycheck rather than the results that this person is going to get, then you're doing this person a disservice. So
Exactly.
service and care, go hand in hand in this case to be able to really.
Right. Yeah, and just to like wrap this four C's, right? So now it is because of care, guys. When we get on sales calls, our teammates get on sales call, people literally start crying because they really, the emotions get dredged up, right? As they open up and talk about it, right? Like, why would you cry in front of somebody? Either you're so much in pain, you've found a shoulder that you can actually cry on, you can tell your pains because, for the first time, maybe you felt heard. And that's because you have the care, right? And I have the care when I'm getting on sales call. I'm genuinely really care about helping people. Yeah, like I said, they're really pulling out their saving. They're pulling out maybe half of their salary, right, to really buy that, right? So you need to have care, which 99% of sales professionals, maybe worldwide, do not have it today.
So speaking of that, we see a lot of times where we get people on board, they seem to have the traits of sorts, but then through the training or through whatever they're going through, they're not able to make the cut, right? So how do you kind of work with the people who underperform despite, the training, despite everything that we've done? How do you make a decision whether they're going to stay in the team or not?
Okay, good question. And I think, this we have seen it happening. Although our recruitment process is really strong, really able to filter out a lot of bad applicants, right? But still, some people are really able to come in because that's how things are, right? So how do we see? Basically, like we have something called a 21-day period, right? Everybody have it, every company have it, but the reason we have it is because the stats that we have has really proven to us that whosoever came into our company and actually made good money for him and made good results for the client as well, they actually showcased in the first 21 days who they really are, right? And if somebody has come in and he's not really produced result, let alone he has not put extreme good enough results, and there's not good enough reasoning why he's not getting result, we let them go home. We do not waste time with people.
Right.
Yeah, because like when you gave me an opportunity, you remember day one itself, I learned. And I did crack the sale on the day one itself, right? Day one or day two, right? That defined who I am. And similar way, I'm not no fancy personality. A lot of our closer recent hire we did, the guy made 1 lakh in the first month itself. And on the day one, he did crack a sale. So you tell in 21 days who you are. If you tell us, then we know who we need to keep and who we let go.
Right. But do you think like those kind of people who don't perform with good training, with consistent effort, do you think that they can become better closers?
Majorly, Om, what I have noticed when it comes to producing results, it always has been the fact about the mindset. Yeah. Like a recent fire that I did, a person who was actually producing around 10 to 14 lakh a month for the other company he was working with. And when he came in, he passed all that to his. I had good confidence in him and I thought he can do good. When he came in, he couldn't perform,
Why is that?
And I asked him and I interviewed him when I did the exit interview, and I got to know that his mindset is not in place. He's already not going through, but he's distracted. He said he's not able to give his 100%. If he's not able to give his 100%, of course, it's not good point in time to be working with him. I think if they can really work on their mindset, they can get results. And yes, we have worked with people in the past who we helped work on their mindset, and eventually they started getting results.
So there's this, debate out there
Yeah.
Remote versus on-site, right? When people are remote, people feel that they're not focused. They're not able to concentrate. Whereas if they are in the office and you have them under your nose, then okay, they're working and they will also be more serious. What do you have to say about this?
Okay. I think it's definitely a good question because we see a lot of our clients when they're coming to us that they decide that they want to have an on-site team just because their belief is that if they're sitting in office and I've put a really eagle eye on them, they'll suddenly start producing result. Because if that would be the case, a lot of sales team was sitting out there, they'll be producing real good results because there's always big sales teams, right? But the fact is, that people would produce result when they have right resources, when they have right opportunity, and majorly they have the right environment. Why do you feel a soldier goes to the war and really fights? Because that's the environment that has been set and he knows what he needs to be done. A soldier, when there's a war happening, he doesn't decide that he can take a day or off. He just go to the war, right? And that's the mentality that we develop here at Exclusive Closer, that you see yourself not as a sales profession, not as a cold caller, right? You see yourself as a warrior, a sales warrior, somebody who has been trained and designed to get on a sales call and actually do the killing, right? Yeah. And that's the environment, we believe in high performance. That's why. And of course, with that being said, we have systems, we have KPIs in place, we have sales management in place to make sure these guys are performing. That's how we get to know that 21-day thing, right? Are they going to perform or not, right?
So talk to me about the KPIs. Like what type of things are the key performance indicators?
Right. So I'll walk you through a typical, a day of a sales closer working with Exclusive Closer, right? Typically, it depends upon really client to client, but majorly, all of our clients, sales team are starting somewhere around 9:30, where they get on a sales call with their coach and their manager, right? Usually coach and manager are the same person in cases, and sometimes they're multiple people depending upon the team size, right? They get on a quick call with their manager, right, around 9:30, and we quickly discuss how was the results yesterday, what's the major challenge you faced, right? And typically these call stays for anywhere between 30 to 45 minutes, where we majorly discussing the challenges they face and we're giving solution to them. We're practicing, we're crafting new scripts home, and we're strategizing how we're gonna go. And at the same time, every single day, they're getting their goals tracked in that 30 to 45-minute meeting here. How much of a goal you have done? And usually, like, one of our close has done 40% of the goal. So now it's accountability is happening. I'm like, what are you gonna do to hit remaining 60%, right? So these morning meetings are actually working out as a motivational, and they are also working out as a training sessions at the same time holding them accountable. 9:30 they connect with us, and at 10 a.m. they're free to get on sales call. They usually have their sales call booked around 10 a.m. and they just get on.
Inbound calls, or they're calling outward?
It totally depends, but now the way we have structured the system, majorly we have something called a pre-sales team, and then there's a sales team, right? Where pre-sales team is appointment setting, so people are setting appointments for the consultant, the closers here, right? And then consultant need to get on call. So typically they have their already call scheduled, an outbound sales call that is pre-scheduled for them. That's happening around 10 a.m. And then the good part home that they have the whole day to take sales calls. And I'm really happy to say that I think I'm really grateful to say that many of our closers don't take a off for weeks. They work constantly because they're so hungry and they're loving doing it. They're loving getting on sales call. It's very common for them to get on 9-10 p.m. sales call and come next morning and celebrate us. In the morning, we in the same meetings, in the morning meetings, we also celebrate the wins. What has been the win? Personal win, a professional win for you in last 24 hours, right? And towards the end of the day, once they have wrapped up their day, they submit the KPI where they tell how many calls they did, how many calls they went on, how many conversion they did, how many follow-up calls they made, right? And we have something called a strategy call sheet, right? Specifically, they give a detailed breakdown of what happened on the sales call, right? What sort of questions prospect asked, right? So you have the overall picture, what he actually did in the day, the whole day, right? We have the sales call recording coming to us in that sheet, right? And it's easy for closers also who are working with us. Towards the end of the day, they don't need to fill multiple sheets, just 2 sheets, KPI sheet, and they just need to fill in strategy call sheet, right? And they're done, right? We have the whole view from the top, what has been happening the whole day in the life of a closer.
So, like a lot of closers, salespeople, they just want to talk. They just want to pick up the phone, speak, and they think that's the end of it all. So, doing these updates on CRMs or sheets and putting their strategy call notes. Like, why do you think it's important, and what benefit is it giving towards the people who are doing it diligently?
Yeah. Okay. So sometimes, yeah, sales people can be stubborn about it, that they just want to be getting on sales call and be done with it. They don't want to put any sheets and stuff, right? But I'm a very strong believer, that whatever you can't measure, you can't grow, right? And that's why measurement has to happen, right? In fact, here at Exclusive Closer, we just don't teach what we do not preach, right? So I myself fill in a KPI every single day. I'm measuring first is, where did I play on a scale of 100%? Did I play at my 100%? And most of the time, my average is coming 70, 75%, 80. And many of the days, it's coming 100% as well, right? So I know where did I play? What did I achieve throughout the day? How many interviews I took? How many sales call I actually reviewed of the teammates, How many sales call I also personally took for EC and stuff, right? For my clients, right? Because I'm also training teams, yeah? So all of that is something which is important, to the equation. And one more key example I would give you how it helps, right? Like I refer to example as a strategy call sheet, right? So in that, what we measure majorly is like who you spoke to, name, email, phone number. I just need to copy paste, right? And some of the really key areas is like what helped you get this conversion if you got a conversion, right? And because you analyze that 1 hour call, you have been on the call, the major one reason that person bought. Another 4 calls that you had that day, total 5 calls you had, other 4 didn't convert. What's the key reason they didn't convert? So after it's been like 2-3 months, you will have a stat. This is the key reason why people are not converting, on your sales call. And we can help you overcome that. That means probably if you were getting 10% conversion, you would start getting 20 because that problem is solved. And we can leverage on the one reason why people are actually buying. What is the key reason? They're actually converting, right? Once we leverage on that 20% go to 30%, right? So it is your optimization, but if you cannot measure it, you cannot optimize it. You cannot optimize it. You're gonna continue working like a hardworking person and be donkey about it.
You want to work smart, not harder.
Yeah, you want to work smarter, right?
Yeah, and I think one thing that we also say, it's a lifestyle, right? It's not only about your work, but it also starts to impact your personal life as well, right? The way that you show up in your relationships, the way that you show up with your spiritualism, your physical health, your mental health, everything gets impacted by following a certain practice that we do, right?
Exactly. I think that's something a really good point you brought on. Because because I'm coming from this space, like I joined Exclusive Closer and became a closer, and then eventually laddered up to become a manager, trainer, and then coach and the partner, right? So during this journey, what I realized, that you need to have a winning aura in all the areas of your life, right? And that starts with how you actually not start your day, how you actually end your day, right? So like right now, when I'm tracking, am I playing at my 100%? Because I'm able to document it, I also know what is helping me play at my 100%, right? So being able to go to sleep on time, because I went to sleep on time, I'm able to actually wake up on time, right?
Yep. And do your activities as per what you're supposed to do, the rituals. Right.
Yeah.
And I think also when you're in an environment where you're with other winners, how does that impact?
Oh, it impacts very, very massively, because we know, yesterday we were on a meeting, right, with this client, right? What all he was mentioning, that aura that he was carrying, right? We really liked it. Maybe subconsciously or consciously, it did inspire us, what he was doing, and that guy's a multi-millionaire. So being in right environment definitely helps. But more than that, before that, you have to actually fix your own environment, because like you and I are sitting right now, maybe for 1 hour, 2 or 3 hours, right? But then rest of the 20 hours or 18 hours, I'm gonna be with myself, right? So I need to give myself the right aura, the right environment, right? This is what I suggest as a really a high performer schedule. I wake up around, alarm rings at 4:55 a.m., right? I quickly get up, I get freshen up and all, and then I go to the gym. I do my exercises, I come back quickly, and then I actually read book. I quickly read book, a spiritual book I start with, right? To make sure I'm working on my relationship with God, right? And that starts the day on a very positive note, right? And then I quickly, take bath, take my breakfast, and before half an hour before the actual meeting starts, I'm planning, just reviewing my day, what all I'm gonna do, how I'm gonna utilize my energy today, right? And then at usually at 9 or 9:30, I have my first meeting, right? And then I'm back to back in meetings and stuff. I pretty much clear all my meetings around 11. I keep very quick meetings, 30 minutes meeting, right? And then I've got the whole 11 to 9 p.m. as my overtime zone, right? I get done my to-do, whatever the most important, I pick it up and I get it done, and I have that's why the same schedule I've given to our closers also. You get done with the meetings 10 a.m., 10:30 a.m., just be on sales call, just do what you're supposed to do and hit your goals, right? That's how a winner does. And as you finish around 9, right, make sure you close it again on a good note, right? Read a book or maybe do some training, attend some training.
So,
And
what about burnout? Because this is something that we get a lot also. People telling us, oh, I'm working morning to night, morning to night. Sometimes I don't take off. Like, what do you think prevents the burnout?
What prevents the burnout? I believe the burnout actually happens when you are actually not really enjoying what you're doing. You're not really able to get where you want to be, and things are just not aligning, right? But you can actually align it, right? Like I know in the past when I felt like I had a burnout, I knew like things were not connected. I didn't know where I'm going, I was waking up slightly lazy, I was not performing that well, right? And on the other side, when I become a high performer, right? I was loving what I was doing. I'm working all 7 days. And not only people are appreciating, I'm appreciating it myself, seeing the person I'm becoming, right? So I would say that you need to fix your life and create an environment where you would enjoy. Like right now, the idea I gave, the example of getting done with my meetings max by 11, or, in fact, 10:40, I'm done with my meetings. That actually makes me feel happy that I don't need to get on meetings and stuff because they get, extended and long. I have the whole day free. And now I do the work that really impacts, I can be taking a task that might take maybe just 2 hours, but I might want to give it 4 hours today because I want to do it so well. It's going to generate some really good results for us. I would say it's the key to prevent burnout is create the environment that you would enjoy. Work with the people that you would enjoy working with, just don't go after money all the time, but be with the right association. Like it's been now 2020 we started working and we are sitting here 2025, right? We really enjoy working with each other, right? And even though last sales meeting was at 11:30 p.m., we were in Preet, we are in Delhi. We closed up, that deal, right? And we're closing at 11:30 and dinner is skipped. And you and I were not complaining about it. We were happy. We went to the restaurant and stuff. And this is what people call burnout, that, back to back. We are literally enjoying this because we love what we do. We have got the environment.
So you would say that it takes a certain type of personality to be able to be in this space. The reason I'm asking is because we're going to be launching a closer workshop, right? And I'd like to talk about that before we close this episode, where we've talked about the traits, we've talked about what it really takes to become a closer, and how the right type of people will succeed. And with the right clients, definitely we're providing the environment for them for that to happen, and with the right training management, that's all there. But it's really going to boil down to making this what we call the Indian sales remote revolution, right?
Yes.
Here, making more people aware about what we do and finding those diamonds in the rough so that they can join us, right?
Right.
So what have we got planned for that?
Yeah. So I think this is something, Om, you have been pushing me to do that. Let's go out there. Let's train a lot more people. Let's share what we have gained by working with top 1%, by learning from the really top-notch influencers, right? And I was never, too much motivated about it because I always felt like I want to create more results. And I think not big words, but when we are sitting here today, Om, I've already generated a lot of real good results with the systems that we have developed. And now is the time we really want to open this curtain and give the sales systems to public for the first time officially. And what we're calling this movement that you started in 2018, we now want to give it a new name. To this movement that we want to continue, right? And we are calling it the Indian remote sales revolution. What's the idea behind remote sales revolution is that we want to revolutionize the sales industry in India. People out there are being in the toxic environment. They do not have right opportunities home. They're not making right money. And on top of that, they are in the toxic sales environment. On top of that, they have to go and work from office, right? That they don't like going and come back, in that a traffic jam and stuff and all, right? So that's what causing burnout. And sales is an industry, and I'm sure we can look at the stats that there's a lot of good number of people who are quitting working in sales already. They're shifting into new career. I've seen a lot of people doing that, right? It's all of happening because nobody's taking a stand towards these people. Nobody cares about them. People don't respect them, And most of the time, these guys are feeling like they're bagging when they're getting on sales call. I care about that. if nobody does, I personally care. We care about it. Exclusive Closer cares about it. And what we want to be able to do is help these people and really revolutionize the sales industry. And how we want to be able to do that is we are majorly looking to take sales remotely, because it's not a operation. Like if you're selling a digital product, unless you're selling a car, you can do sales from home. And it's really cost effective, right? For the company on the other side, right? So we're taking sales remotely. You can be working from home or a virtual environment anywhere in the world, in India. Now, to be able to work, what do you need, Om? You need skill set, right? Now, we have, after working for so many years, learning from top mentors, gurus, we have figured out a system which we call the sales persuasion system, which we teach our sales professionals, our sales warriors, how they can get on calls. Plus, in this Indian sales revolution, what we want to be able to do is give the training from the top performers, the top Indian closers who have really done it, who have really gotten the
People
results.
who are actually practicing this, not someone who's learned a course from somebody else and then vomiting the same thing to a fresh audience. But these are actual practitioners who are doing this and making good money, are going to be training all these
Exactly,
people.
right? Like you, when I joined, you gave me the training, right? You showed me how you do. You gave me that role play recording, right? And here, what we want to do is we want to take the game to next level. We want to be able to give actual, real life sales calls of the top closers, the guys who are making 2 lakh, 3 lakh a month, 1 lakh a month, and that's what gonna make the difference. It's basically like asking, Obama, how did you become Obama? How do you become first president, right? And Obama gives you a 4-page script, This is the speech. You need to go and pick up a mic and give the speech, and they'll make you the president of the United States.
Right.
That's typically what we want to be able to do, Om.
Right.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of sales coaches, sales trainers out there, right? Maybe teaching something like this, right? What's going to be different about what we do?
Good question, Om, because remember, some years back we were having conversation when I joined Exclusive Closer. I said I want to get trained, right? And you said like you don't have that enough time right now to be able to get on a regular call and train. Why don't you go and sign up for a program? At that time, I analyzed Indian market, and to my surprise, Om, I couldn't really find right sales training program that would really fit my need, that time. And that's why then I started looking outside international courses. And that's where I found somebody, to learn from, right? Even today in India, I'm not really coming across really good sales training programs that can really generate high performers, right? Now, how it's going to be different is in the program that we are designing. First of all, it's a very affordable program, because our goal here is not to sell your course. Our goal here is to create an army, right? And I actually need really genuine, trusted people who are going to be learning and really going to become a sales warrior, right? So what we're going to do is our purpose of this training going to be really like to make you really battle ready, right? So it's typically a 30-day program where we will be working with you every single day. Something new you're going to learn, and you're going to practically practice it, and you're going to have live role plays happening every single day where you can get on a call and practice. So by the end of 30 days, like you actually have practically learned what is sales, practice that you have learned from the live sales calls of the top performers. You have personally practiced with me, and you have learned the experience that I bring in, our really high performers brings in, right? So I've gotten access to the war zone book. How can you win a war, right? And then once you're 30 days, you're done with the course, we put you on live practice. We put you on the war zone itself where you go and kill.
Perfect. So, I mean, this is all great and everything, but what about the kind of people that we've actually helped generate? Can you give me some examples of some people who have really excelled with us?
Yeah, absolutely, Om. I want to quickly talk about maybe in a moment, about few examples how these people came in and really excel, right? One of the example would be a girl named Muskan, who is sitting somewhere in UP, right, and doesn't know much about sales. Have been in affiliate marketing, learned a little bit sales, right, and she came to us and she worked on this Hindi sales project, right. She made in the first few months, she started making 40-50K. A little girl who's working part-time, and today, to the systems that she have learned on with Exclusive Closer, today she is actually making 2 lakh a month working as a remote closer. Not only that, she have gained the knowledge and transformed herself, and she has actually become a trainer and a manager now. She's training other people and making easily 2 lakh a month. Just a 23-year-old. Another example, a guy named Manik sitting somewhere in Haryana, 19-year-old boy. He came to us and he worked in just a span of, I think, just around 4 months. He went from making, I think first month he made about 50-60K with us. Next month he went on 1 lakh plus. And in just third or fourth month itself, he had made 1.8 8.3 lakh, roughly around that. That was another example. Third example, I would like to talk about somebody, who actually quitted her corporate job, a woman with over a decade experience in Bangalore, right? Raj Lakshmi, right? And she was a product manager and not liking her job, right? So she eventually quit her job and started working as a closer. And she have made phenomenal paychecks, 1.5 lakh, 1.6 lakh. And regularly she's generating 1 lakh a month, working from the comfort of her home, right? And all of these guys are selling transformational program. They're doing network marketing or something. They're actually just sitting as a consultant, taking the sales call, converting them, and making good money.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, I think there are a lot more people that we could talk about, but I guess that would require a completely new episode. So thank you so much, Aniket. It's been a very delightful conversation. We'll definitely come back and sit again.
Maybe bring some more guests on board and take this forward. But in the meantime, if you guys are watching from home or you're interested to work with Exclusive Closer, either as a client or as a closer, you can visit exclusivecloser.com to find out more about us. And you can connect with us on Instagram and LinkedIn. We'd be happy to interact with you and take it forward. Thank you so much. Have a good day.